Okay, this is Dave Simon, and what I'm going to do today is I am going to, first of all, make sure that we're recording, and we are, and I'm going to go over some basic website messaging ideas. We're going to look at website design and purely from a messaging standpoint, not from a design standpoint. And we're just going to look at some common patterns that we're going to see on these 4 websites. Each website was designed by a different person, but they're all adhering to some consistent trends that are going on in website design. And it's super important that you would adhere to these patterns. Website visitors are looking for these. Okay, so let's take a look. We got 2 music school websites and 2 websites that are of businesses that are outside of the music education industry. First thing we're going to do is the 5-second test. This is sort of my take on the Donald Miller building a story brand grunt test, but it's the same idea that within 3 to 5 seconds, a website visitor should be able to land on the above the full section, the main section of the top section of your homepage, and be able to identify what is this, what's in it for me, and what should I click on. So here we go. Just a few seconds on this. What is this? What's in it for me? And what should I click on? Let's look at Footprints Music. Same questions. What is this? What's in it for me? What should I click on? Perfectly Plays. And good old Stanley Steamer. Okay, so let's look at each one of these. What is this? What's in it for me? What should I click on? Perfectly Placed. Well, what is it? We organize your stuff. Pretty simple and direct. That's what it is. What's in it for me? They're going to make my life easier. So they're selling me peace of mind. What should I click on? This button right here. What does it say? Get organized now. Can't miss that button. It's popping out. It's in its own little box. Let's take a look at Stanley Steamer. What is this? It's home and commercial cleaning. Just like Perfectly Placed, where there's no poetry there. There's nothing creative about it. It's just the most basic statement, the most basic summary of what it is that they do. There is no statement about what's in it for me. You know, they're not saying anything, you know, about peace of mind. They certainly could with a dirty carpet. But there's a button there. It says get your quote and schedule instantly. Another button right up there in the upper right-hand corner. It's just saying quote and schedule. So it's a condensed version of this button. Okay. All right, let's take a look here at Footprints Music. So what is this? It's music lessons. What's in it for me? My kid is going to be confident. They're selling confidence. And what do they want me to click on? The Start Today button. There's another Start Today button. Just like these other websites, that button is popping out. It's you can't miss it. Let's look at Lincoln School of Music. What is this? It's music lessons. And what's in it for me? It's going to make my kid feel cool. Going to make him feel good about himself. What should I click on? The Start Today button right there. Okay, so all these websites, they pretty much passed the 5-second test. A Stanley Steamer, for whatever reason, they're not talking about what's in it for you, the visitor. But they're the only ones who aren't doing that. Everyone else is doing a good job of that. Okay, so let's look at the design now, above the fold. We're going to talk about above the fold being the main, the top portion of your home page. We're going to talk about the triangle pattern that the logo, call to action, and call to action 2 buttons create. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Upper left-hand corner is the logo. Upper left-hand corner is the logo. Upper left-hand corner, logo. All these websites have that logo in the upper left-hand corner, but they have a call to action in the right, a call to action button in the center of a drop down. And these 3 points kind of frame the section and they create a triangle. Same thing here. There's those 3 points again. Those 2 call to action buttons. These were not designed by the same people. Same thing here. Okay, their call to action buttons a little weak. It just says contact us now, and it's kind of hard to read. You might not even be able to see it on your computer, but it's there, and they've got it too. There's the triangle with logo, 2 call to action buttons. something you definitely want to have on your website. They all have their main headline. They and let's look at the placement and the message of the call to action. But we talked about the placement already, where it's in the center but drop down. But they're all action-oriented call to actions. I believe they are. And that's the recommendation, is that there's something, start today. It's make it happen now. So it's got action in it. Start today, same thing. Get organized. When? Right now. So action. Get your quote and schedule. When? Today, tomorrow, instantly. All right, so they're all kind of trying to create this sense of urgency. Make it happen now. Logo placement we talked about, upper left-hand corner. For all these 4 pages, let's talk about the featured image. The featured image should ideally show the customer having a win, a customer engaged with the service, with your service, having a peak moment. Well, this shows the carpet being cleaned. But really, it's like, look how dirty that is. And okay, this is the beginning of a brighter tomorrow. They're seeing that clean carpet there. Like, it wouldn't be effective just to have a picture of a carpet. This is great. This is showing the customer after the service has been completed. And look how she's a hero. And look how at peace she looks. And her daughter's appreciating her and kissing her. Mom's the hero. These are all pictures of kids engaged in the service. Shows kids all engaged in the service. Yes, it would be nice to see their faces. That would be more helpful. I'd say out of the 4 of these, this one's really probably doing the best job in terms of just really highlighting the customer in a peak moment. It says here, customer having a peak moment. How does it tie in with your core message? Well, let's take a look really quick. Her core message is that peace of mind. Your life will be easier. Yep, sure enough, she looks like she's pretty peaceful in the mind, and her life looks pretty easy, and she looks pretty relaxed. So that's great. Let's take a look here at main menus. You don't want to have too many menus. The more choices you put in front of your website visitor, the more likely you are to overwhelm them, to confuse them. You want to keep your choices pretty limited. This is a franchise, so they've got a few more, but main menu items. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's really 5 right in there. A franchise is going to need locations. They don't necessarily need FAQs, but they got it. Look at perfectly placed. There's really only 2 menu items, and there's that contact us now. You could say 3. They've got 4 right here. They've got 4 main menu items. So if you have more than 4 or 5, you probably have too many. You're probably overwhelming your website visitor. Website visitor sees a lot of main menu items. They're probably just going to ignore them. Okay, so here's just, about lessons, classes. Those are some suggestions. And then underneath, you want to have things about your costs and your about us, your calendar, currency, some of that stuff that can be drop downs under about, your lessons. You probably have multiple lesson offerings. So you're going to want to list those under lessons as sub menus. Photos in general should have emotional triggers in it. So take a look here. I don't really see. Well, there's a good one. There's a kid playing guitar and he's happy. Every photo should have that emotional trigger in it. Look at these young kids. They're in a rock band. Who wouldn't want their kid to do that? Look at this emotional trigger, before and after. So they're really, there's no emotional trigger in a van, but okay, there's look how clean the carpet is after the cat got a hold of it and they came in there and cleaned it. So choosing photographs that are really going to tell a story and build a desire in your website visitor. So the website visitor says, I want my kid to do that. Let's look at design below the fold. Is it clear and simple? And are there consistent patterns and symmetry? And does the call to action, is it reoccurring? We're going to look at the footer and social media icons. So let's take a look here. Let's look at perfectly placed again. So they look how just things are kind of divided in these different sections with these different, kind of backdrops, where the color changes, and it's very clear as to when a section begins and ends. She's got a call to action here. Hey, maybe you're not ready to get organized now, but you keep scrolling down, and then she drops it in. Call to action again. Maybe you're ready. Nope, not ready. See more photos of her work. Okay, I'd be curious. So she's dropping in these calls to action, and then finally at the very end, she says, okay, fine, you're not ready to buy our service. I'll tell you what, you can get our book. It's a free book. It's 3 secrets to organizing anything. Well, clearly anyone who's on this website's interested in being more organized, and they're going to opt in and get that book. And guess what? She's now got their email address, and she's ready to market to them. So that, there's no real set, or there's different opinions about how to design the below the fold. As long as it's clear and simple and there's consistent patterns, reoccurring call to action. Let's take a look at the footer. The footer of your website should have the address, phone number, just like these guys got here, and their social media buttons. Don't put your social media buttons at the very top. That's an invitation for people to leave. You want to keep them there at the bottom. You don't want people to hop off your website. And if they're at this point and they decide to go to your Facebook page, they know what they need to know. So also having a map in your footer is really good. He's got it there. In your footer, as you go to each page of your website, that footer should just carry over. All right, let's take a look at landing pages. Your landing pages should be set up like a home page. People might Google piano lessons in your city with your city's name, and it's not necessarily going to take them to your home page. It might take them to your piano page. So your piano page should look like a home page. Let's see what he's doing with this. Okay, so okay job on his landing page. Could be better. I think it's good. I think what he's got trying to get you to opt in and give you your name, phone number, and email so he can market to you. And then he's got his sales copy. Probably doesn't need this picture. Could probably pull that up a little bit. It's an okay landing page. Let's see if we can look at another landing page. We really want it to look like the home page of a website. There we go. I'd like to see the person's face in there, but that looks like a home page of a website. A little bit of text. Look how it's divided with that, with that color to let the viewer know this is a different section. So really, really great job there of landing pages. Your contact form. Your contact form should only have just a few items in it. You don't want to have name, phone number, email, address. How'd you hear about us? What class are you signing up for? Any additional, all that stuff. Each time you add something to your contact form, you're increasing the likelihood that a customer is just going to become overwhelmed and bounce off your website, or, leave your website. You want to, who was it? I think it was right here. Look at that. Name, email, phone number. Why wouldn't you opt in? Why wouldn't you give it to them? They're making it's so easy. Well, you're not going to put it if you don't have any interest in what the service is, but it's just a really attractive way to capture people's information. And people can always opt out, of course. Let's take a look at his form. Name, last name, phone number, email. So that's it. That pretty much covers, I was kind of moving here at light speed, but really just trying to go over the general areas that are going to make for an effective, clean website that's really going to make it just easy for website viewers to understand what your message is and to navigate around your website.